Good morning, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you. Today is Saturday, the hottest day of the year. Welcome to your Carta Dab of the Day. Good morning, everybody. We've been talking a lot about attitude change, attitude adjustment, how do you deal with difficult situations. But I think the most challenging thing that happens to anybody in our situation who has chronic, intractable pain is what do you do when you feel normal, you do a normal thing, an activity, a dinner, then you're jammed up right afterwards. You didn't do anything. You just went to dinner. What happens? If you're hunched over, if your pain goes to 8 or 9, what do? Do you run automatically and take an opiate? Do you go hide in bed? Do you look for a doctor, emergency? What do you do? I think what has to happen is we have to take the emotion out of those situations. This is what's working for me. What I mean by that is when those things happen, you get scared. Let's face it, it's frightening. It's frightening because you can't control the pain. It's uncontrollable. When that happens, you feel like it's going to spin out of control because you've been down that path so many times before. So you almost have to look at it and say, it's not really what it is. I'm seeing it in a wrong way. It's not really happening this way. And I mean this sincerely. You have to tell yourself that it's fake information, that it's being processed by your mind the wrong way. Example. Forget the physical back for a second. Let's look at anxiety. You get anxious, your palpitations start, your breathing starts to amplify, you start to feel dizzy, you think you're dying. This happens to a lot of people. Well, we all know, studies show, you're not dying. You're in an anxiety attack. It's a separate thing that presents the same way. So if you're out to dinner with friends or you're doing something that's really not stressful and all of a sudden it's happening, you're thinking, oh my God, it's happening. The snowball's rolling. I'm going to go all the way down the hill. Not necessarily the case. It's very hard to step back and take a look at these situations and say, well, what did I really do to hurt myself? Nothing. Well, what really could be happening? Stress? Wait, you mean things not body related can make the body work? Yes. So what I'm saying is that sometimes when you're in social situations and you're not used to it, it's anxiety and stress that are your big issues that you don't even know you're having that cause the body to feel uncomfortable and cause the pain to ramp up. So it's a disconnect. Left to the right, right to the left, it's a disconnect. They don't speak to each other, these two sides, let's say. So you're marching in anticipation of a stressful situation, whatever it is, you're already going to have some pain. When you're in the midst of the situation, let's say you're at a dinner, you're going to sit for a while, it's going to be more pain. But when it's over, you're not going to really think and do the autopsy of what happened. You're going to say, I'm just in horrible pain. Oh my God, what do I have to do to solve that? What I'm saying is, wait a second. Try to look back on what you just did. Look, if you've been outside on a bicycle and you had no business doing it, you know what you did. If you went to dinner, drove a short distance in a car, walked 50 feet, and have been sitting, you know you didn't do anything. But sometimes you could have this chronic intractable pain that's relentless. I used to call them the gunshots. I had to take fentanyl patches for them. Nothing works with that. But if you're having a spike pain situation, it might not even be your body, is what I'm trying to say. It might be the thing between your two ears. And if it's the thing between your two ears, sometimes it's harder to stop that pain than it is to stop the pain you could take a pill for. Here's what I'm talking about. What happens to us when we get excited and stressed is the body releases chemicals. It releases chemicals to stimulate the body or slow it down. The brain doesn't work well under heavy pain. It's overloaded. Sometimes it's called being frazzled. I've been diagnosed as having frazzled nerves. Too many times being denervated, too many times being cut, too many times having radio frequency treatments, too many times being injected. So now they don't respond the way they should. So it's called being frazzled. You're overcooked. The mind controls all of that. So if you can get ahead of a situation and basically say, there's not much happening, this is going to be easy, I just need to go slow, and think about it ahead of time, you might prevent yourself from having a tremendous amount of anxiety, which can be confused as additional pain. So try to get ahead of your anxiety as much as you can get ahead of your pain, because they're very interrelated. Let's take our dab of the day and do our dab train. What do you say, everybody? Cheers. There goes the dab train. And by the way, I had a question. Why don't I finish my dabs? I had a health scare recently, and I'm cutting down the amount of dab I'm putting into my body. I want to do it for the demo. I want to be able to talk about it, but I really have tried to cut down the amount of dabbing right now, using more flour, things like that. But please, try to separate these two things, your mind and your body, and realize that the mind controls the body. You can't replace, God forbid, a limb with your mind, okay? But what happens with the mind is it's very strong. And if you preconceive a bad situation happening, your body's going to hurt because of it if you're like us. If you preconceive, hey, it's going to be a cakewalk, you might find your body will cooperate and not give you such a hard time. And if you walk in and say, I don't know how it's going to be, you know what? You might be okay then too. Just try to remember that we control we. You control you. And if you get ahead of it just a little bit, you might reduce your stress, thus reducing your chronic pain and the symptoms that make it difficult for you to have just an everyday day. This is the Real Senior Stoner saying keep cool on this hottest day of the year, and I hope these tips help. Cheers, everybody. Have a great day.